try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
We're back. Starseeds and Patriots are down under. How are we all? Welcome back to the show. I do apologise for my absence again. We've had a couple of little small things happen in the last couple of days where we just had to go with the flow of things. And, it's just one of those things, fortunately, that we have to do, flow of life. But welcome back today, everyone. I'd just like to say welcome also to our good friend and Whistleblower Bob. Welcome to the show, Bob. How are you, mate? Are you there?
Yeah, I'd be pretty good, Chris. Not too shabby for a Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, that's good. Yeah, I was going to ask, how's the weather over in Western Australia this morning for you? Is it all good?
No, it's absolutely lousy. It's raining and good beer drinking weather. Beer and TV drinking weather.
Yeah, mate. I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's actually like that on the East Coast here as well today. It's actually very, not drizzly yet, but it's very muggy outside, very overcast, and a lot of, let's just say, a lot of overnight spraying has been taking place, and it's left us very overcast. Yeah, it's a little smoggy today, so to speak. But yeah, otherwise, I'm in pretty good, damn good spirits and feeling pretty good today. I've had a little bit of what would you say, energetically up and down. I think I was talking about this a little earlier as well, and I've been up and down with the energies, and they've been kicking my ass in the last couple of days, just up and down, just things I need to move through. And even the day of the eclipse, I had a slight, what I would call, I felt nauseated, and I had this pain right in the sternum area of my chest, and felt nauseated, not keeled over, but like in this, that hit me just then, and ended up passing out for 3 hours. So, it was definitely an energetic week, that's for sure, with the lunar eclipse and, everything happening the way around us at the moment. It's really been an all-out test. So, I'm hoping you've been faring through this, mate, eh? I hope you've been faring
I've certainly had my challenges this week, and I must admit, when the lunar eclipse happened, and it's sort of energetically, you feel like you've been hit by a bus. You wake up following morning, you feel fine. A couple of hours later, you think, my God, did I even go to bed? There's definitely some weird stuff going on at the moment. I mean, it even really started to get down to, thinking, have I actually got a medical condition? But talking to other like-minded people, they're all exactly the same. And it's just one of those things that you just got to deal with that adjustment and ride it out, pretty much. Ride the storm. Because there's some stuff coming, and the best way I've had it described to me is we're changing energetically, but the majority of the sheep that are out there are not. So, we can feel the changes and we'll be okay. But it's them that have got to do the groundwork very, very quickly. Otherwise, they will get left behind.
That's actually funny you say that. It's funny you say that, because I was talking to a good friend of mine that I caught up with this morning, and we were both agreeing at the fact, with what's been going on with the last 2-3 years, etc., and what's followed, and the easing of so-called restrictions everywhere, how much people have just gone back to their everyday lives and the complacency that's there, and the illusion of freedom as such, that they think they're under. I'm thinking to myself, do you really understand? This is not freedom. This is tyranny. You're living under full oppression. And the fact that they just got back to their footy games, their barbecues with their cheese and biscuits and crackers and, you know, and their little platters and things and whatever else, you know, just they're unessential, really unimportant things, you know, they all got back to, and basically the last 2 or 3 years has meant nothing to them, you know, and I look at that and I think to myself, really, the program really has worked so well that, I mean, it's like a glazed look over their eyes, you know, this is no way of getting through. So I think the only way is getting through is, you know, if this all goes sideways to a degree suddenly, that red suppository that they're all, you know, trying to avoid. Because really, it's, at the end of the day, that's basically what it's going to, you know, end up is either, you know, a really big red pill down the throat or a really big red one, you know, elsewhere, and it's going to hurt. Well, it's going to hurt, you know, trying to swallow it. And I really do feel sorry for them to a degree, but at the other side, I also think to myself, you know, there's a lot that they have really got to do in order to, you know, see the truth.
Or put it this way, putting my military hat on, I reckon the strike is going to be very, very soon. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I say it. I mean, if you sit and look at your supply chains, more and more, even things like your medications and stuff now, more and more are being affected.
Yes.
Your certain food retailers, they are finding it hard to get product. You know, why is this? And also, you look at politically on the scene at the moment, things are quiet. There's a lot more distraction out there. Now, as a military thing, the best form of strike is to come when people least expect it. So, you know, everything, you know, day to day, it's all nice, it's all happy, rah, rah, rah. And, yeah, this will be when that hit will come. And it's when people think that a situation normal. I mean, like when the Japanese attacked in Pearl Harbor, they did it on a Sunday morning. You know, everyone was either in bed or off to church or whatever. They didn't say a word, and all of a sudden, bang. And that is where I'm pretty sure our commander-in-chief, and I'm sure people know exactly who that is, why he made references with Pearl Harbor, because he's waiting. He is waiting for the right time. And I've got contacts in the military and things. Yeah, there's a lot happening, but people don't actually realise how or why. And all I can say is it's soon. Can't say exactly when because, you know, they're not giving me that sort of information. However, with what I know as far as strategy and everything else, it is very soon. And when it hits, please, all I can say is please, people, just stay in your houses. Do not go out on the street, because this is where the military are going to be going around cleaning up your gang houses, all these evil bastards that have, they know who they are. The homeless people, they'll be picked up, they'll be housed, they'll be looked after, you know, provided they haven't been out there raping, pillaging, that sort of thing. But these people, let's put it that way, who have engaged fully in the evil, they are going to get picked up.
Yes.
And then they're going to truly understand what hell on earth is. Yeah,
it'll be swift and decisive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's coming.
I totally agree.
It's coming, people.
I mean, like as you said, you know, they know who all the key players are. They've got the lists. They've got. Well, I mean, that actually, you know, is a good way of actually being able to segue into what we're doing today and talking about. Because I mean, the fact that you mentioned, you know, there is a list. You know, there's an actual operation, a plan as such that's sectioned in a way of being able to decisively make sure that end play is in our favour. And I even skipped ahead today just to have a quick look at the last 17 pages. I think you and I were talking about that on the phone the other day, and it turns out I'm wrong. The last 17 pages don't entail all of what I was discussing with you privately, but there is mention of it. But just knowing that these pages, this document exists as such, and now been released, is it safe to say from your military background in the past that this sort of document would not be released unless these sorts of things have already transpired and taken place privately behind the scenes with trials, JAG trials, executions, etc.? Would that already be the case with this document?
Absolutely. I honestly feel that your top echelon is already gone, and a lot of the stuff you're seeing on TV and whatnot is nothing but a scripted movie with other actors. What they'll be coming now for is what I call the piss-ends. The low level, thugs. Let's put it that way. Yeah, and they
piss-ends and thugs. That's what they are.
Yeah, and this is where they need, big numbers on the ground and round them up. If they resist, here you go. Here, judge, jury and executioner. Bang. There you go. Your sentence has just been carried out. In the story, and this is why I'm saying, folks, make sure that when this goes off, stay home. That's all they're asking. Stay home. Unless you absolutely have to travel, in which case you'll have documentation and that sort of thing, or you'll be escorted. Other than that, just stay home. And keep yourself well supplied.
Absolutely. I mean, David Wilcock's been talking about this for years, saying that this was going to be swift, decisive, and happen all in one bang. And he always advised that when it does, make sure that you've got roughly 2 weeks' supply of water, food, canned vegetables, all sorts of goodies. Make sure you've got plenty of water, because just in case infrastructure gets shut off, you never know. You might find that you might even have to boil your water on an open fire, or a butane gas burner. All these things, electricity. You never know. These bastards could go all out in the possibility of knowing that everything's going to be coming apart at the seams for them. They might try and do as much damage as possible. So that's why we can't advise enough, that you need to get as much supplies as possible for at least 2 weeks, and make sure you stay indoors and stuff does go down, because really, at the end of the day, you'll have no one else but to blame for yourself if you get caught up in it. And that's why we stress this of staying home, staying away from all this, because the military's got their job to do. They're doing it. Let us do it. Let them do it. So we can just do ours. We do what we're doing here online, doing our service, doing our part, sharing this information, helping people become aware. And that's, really at the end of the day, the best, other than actually going out and talking to people and actually helping them physically around the place and, being of service that way. What we're doing here online essentially is a good way of actually sharing this information and getting it out to other people so that they can discern their way through this and intuitively, decide for themselves what is best course of action for themselves during this, time that's about to happen. So please, guys, take care of yourselves during this, because it is going to happen, as Bob said. It'll happen. It'll be swift. It'll be decisive. And it'll happen just completely left field. And you don't want to be caught up in it. So that also gives. Sorry, Bob. Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I was just about to say too, folks. Please also remember, not only look after yourself for food and water, but your pets as well. You've got to take them into consideration. So make sure you get enough food and whatnot stored for them. If you've got cats or dogs which are happy to eat human food, just as good.
Yeah, if you live in a community as well, just make sure that you're, if somewhat help to other people in your community, especially if you live in a complex with other people. I mean, there might be a time when you might be short of something and they might have it, and you've got something that they want or need. You might be able to do a barter and help help each other out that way, because looking after each other is something that we've been taught not to really do, and by the divided and conquering mentality that they've been indoctrinating us to, for so many years. I mean, it's now time to change that conscious mindset and actually start being of service to others, not just to ourselves. And if it comes to a point where you have that come up where you need something which you don't have it, ask, and be of service to another and find out. And if there's something that they have that you have and that they need, by all means, do a trade, help each other up, be of service to one another, back each other up, love one another. That's the biggest thing, is be in love. Not as in like love, but as in loving humanity unconditionally, seeing no race, no creed, no color, no religion, no bullshit in between. All I see at the end of the day is human. That's all you should see as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
and, the old saying, love thy neighbour. Well, yeah, it's what it's all about, folks. Because you've got to understand now, this isn't about black, white, brindle, or whatever. This is about life. You've got a pack of pricks right at the top of the pyramid that want to exterminate you like a bug, and that's what they think of everyone, me included. So, and what bigger way to say, go stick it up your backside, mate. Give them the finger, look after life. Because at the end of the day, if I get taken out, if I get taken out, it doesn't matter. But provided life continues, whether it's me, the next door neighbour, my kids, whoever, so long as there is life left and a place worth fighting for, it's worth it. And
continuity will continue, absolutely. Continuity will just move forward, absolutely. And in saying that, we'll continue forward, because these subjects that we're talking about right now touches base on the document that we've been talking so much about online lately, and with Carl from Voice of Freedom as well. And if Carl's out there and he gets to see this later on, hi Carl, good to know that you're back from up north. Good to know that you're back safe, and know that you had a good time up there. Carl, I think has gone to North Queensland just recently with Voice of Freedom to go see our good friend David Cole. I'm not sure exactly about the whole details and what he's experienced up there, but it's going to be interesting to see when Carl comes back and actually does his next show. He'll be talking quite a lot about that and his experience up there, and it's going to be very cool to hear, because I've actually contacted David myself and actually looked into going up and having the I can't pronounce it, sorry, but the journey that they've put together for youth and adults up there that are interested in actually learning the oral stories, dances, and traditions of the Indigenous Aboriginal peoples of Australia and their culture. And I'm actually looking at going up there myself. So it's going to be very interesting to hear what Carl has to say about it when he comes back online. I've done your she's up to page 134. Oh my gosh. Classic. That's classic. Good on you, Danielle. That's awesome, mate. Hey, yeah, I've actually gone up to 200 to 217, but it's quite interesting as you get up there. It's quite interesting. You're going to really enjoy yourself when you get up there. But as we've promised, or as I've spoken to Carl privately, that I'm not going to be going any further than the first 25 pages today, as he covered last week on his show, so that when Carl does return this week for his show, myself and Bob will hopefully be joining Carl, hopefully this week sometime, and be able to go further ahead with the pages in this document and reveal to you exactly what's going on, and so that you can share it amongst your friends and family as well and inform them. But we'll only be doing the first 25 pages today, a little bit more in depth. It's a deep dive, seeing as we're only able to really peruse quickly over it with Carl just the other week. So it actually makes sense that we do this today and get a little bit of further insight from both of our and add to that. Would you agree with that, Bob?
Absolutely, I'd agree to that. I mean, people, you've got to understand this. What we've been fighting has been happening for thousands of years.
Thousands. Yep.
Yeah. Now, thousands. I mean, back in the 90s, for your newer listeners, I was a spook behind the scenes hunting these people. There's stuff that I know that I cannot reveal yet, but in time as time goes on, some of that will be revealed. The web of lies is so interlinked. It will be staggering for someone who has no idea just exactly how far this stuff goes. I mean, I've tried to put a little bit out there, like with the insurance and everything else. You've got to understand the government are involved in this. The police are involved with this. The government agencies are involved. The criminals are involved. The whole thing is like an industry from the CEO to the janitor at the bottom. It's all connected, and it's all about money and control. And as far as they're concerned, it's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. You just need a payout.
That's right.
And it's all it's about, money and power.
Yeah.
And the very thing, money, is the control system. It is your slavery system.
Their God.
Because
is their God. They worship.
Yeah, right from the get-go, when you are born into the world, the first thing they want to do is put you in slavery. Put a price on your head, as it were, and there you go. And
not to mention they rip us off from the moment we get our birth certificate too.
Absolutely. They're robbing you of absolutely everything, right out of the womb. And
straight into slavery from the moment you're born.
And as we start to go through these pages, I will help Chris and you and understand exactly how deep this goes. So let's rip into it.
Yeah, let's bring it up and bring it on the screen. Yeah, there she is. So as everyone has seen this with Carl before, actually I've got to bring my cursor over to this screen. Sorry, because there's too many screens here. As Carl has the same problem with, I've got too many screens that we do. So as Carl has mentioned, this is the all of God's creations, which are in service to Him, known as your people, versus the accused defendants and the enemies named herein. So, I mean, if you want, we can kind of skip that because, I mean, a lot of people probably all heard that. But the sealed oral indictment now, really, where was this Atik Yawum, Ancient of Days re-request? Where did this pretty much rise from? Is this from the old ancient world? Like, is this an ancient tongue that they're using here to request the pending outcome?
Very, very possible. One thing you do have to realise, and this has just started to surface, the Tartarian alphabet had 202 characters in it.
202?
202 is one of the most complex alphabets out there. One of the most simplest has 12. So you look at what we're sitting with here on 26 characters.
Yeah, 26, yes.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you look, that's 13 times 2. That's not a coincidence either, folks.
No, that's not it. Absolutely.
So if you know a little bit about your Freemasonry, you'll start to understand 13 is a very, very powerful number for them. But moving on from that, we are the remnants of a society that was very, very developed. They had a lot of words and stuff which truly express everything from feelings to objects, you name it. All of that has been gone. You've been thrown back, as it were, into the Dark Ages.
Digressed.
To me, the Dark Ages are what are normally referred to as the Industrial Revolution, where all these kids were put into factories. Why were they put into factories?
That's right.
I'd ask yourself the question. And this is where a lot of all this deception and everything has been put in. The timeline has been changed. Our reading materials, everything have all been changed.
Yeah.
And yeah, all the old texts that used to be out there in the world were destroyed, gone.
Destroyed. I mean, look at the book burning ceremonies of World War II. Why do you think Hitler ordered it?
Why do you reckon you had 2 world wars? So they bomb the shit out of all the cities and get rid of the ancient
carpet bomb it.
artifacts.
Yep, carpet bomb the whole place, exactly. Flatten it and rebuild. Exactly what they did. Completely. Yep. So yeah, looking at this, this document. I mean, as much as we've got our guests with us that are on board today. They've gotten up to 132 and things like that. I mean, just knowing this document is so well entitled. I'd love to know what Julie's actually gotten up to and read through this document. Actually, I haven't gotten that far yet, but it's actually going to be interesting to get there eventually. But just knowing that this document exists and knowing that these things are actually going on around us right now. I mean, knowing that I mean, it's not just happening, but it's also it's proof that it has transpired. Other parts of this great plan that has been in active service and operation since 1913, to take down the cabal. This document is so, from what I've seen, so well put together that whoever is obviously behind it is obviously part of either the military alliance, has to be, or some form of prosecutor that has the outlining material for the cases.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to quickly touch base, just briefly, I skipped ahead earlier, as I said, to page 217, and I scrolled back a little bit, and I was looking at some of the stuff about the Federation. Now, there's one name that really stuck out to me in there, and it's apparently part of the satanic bloodlines, etc., etc. But the name itself is called the Abraxas family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know movies. Okay, I don't like to quote the. I don't like the actual actors, but I like the stories. I like scripts. I like characters. I like development of people and how they evolve through their character. But one movie I recently saw in the last 2 years was called Jupiter Ascending. A lot of people know about this movie. It's actually a lot of truth in plain sight. But the main family name in that movie is the Abraxas family.
Correct. Yep.
And this is all about, I mean, like, if you look at the movie itself, the movie is about harvesting of organs, harvesting of serum that can keep people youthful, which is very similar to what we call the harvest of young children's blood, etc. Through that process, you've got reptilians, you've got greys, you've got off-world agendas, you've got Space Force, you've got Space Police, you've got all sorts of different stuff. I mean, all throughout the movie, but the fact that the name Abraxas was used primarily, thinking that people would not know that this name is actually a real bloodline descendant through the houses, through the Church of Satan, and those that are directly descended to Lucifer. And it just shocked me to see that name was in the document itself. And I thought, whoa, like, that just shows you how much that CIA, or actually, can we get away with that now? How can we get away with saying that 3-letter agency on the show? I'm sure we can.
I would say you can.
Yeah,
because,
I'll just push it.
I mean, they are fully responsible for Operation Mockingbird.
Operation Mockingbird, exactly.
So, yeah. Most definitely. I mean, Operation Mockingbird, for those that don't know, folks, it's a CIA operation put in the 60s to take control of the media. And they did everything: movies, magazines, newspapers, TV, you name it. They put their agents in, so that these were people that you saw on the nightly news, for argument's sake. And they were being paid by the CIA a wage, but in order for them to maintain everything, they were also getting paid a wage from the news place or the TV station.
That's right.
And this is how deep some of these things go.
I mean, just looking at the news recently as well. I mean, not that I watch the news, but knowing that the Screenwriters Guild of America went on strike recently which brought most of production to a halt in so-called Hollywood, with our favourite so-called shows and movies, etc. Really, I don't give a shit. Best thing could happen. But it just shows you how much the Screenwriters Guild is directly connected to the CIA and how much they use the material that's declassified to create their scripts. From these files that have been declassified, or if they're not being declassified, they're taking classified material and changing the formatting of it and the syntax, etc., the phonetics, and putting it into a script format for us to enjoy as just plain science fiction, hoping to God that no one out there will recognise the Abraxas name. But people like myself who pay attention to small details, it didn't get by me. So that's why I had to say it on the show today, is that when people get to the actual end here and you see names like that, know full well that this is it's not by chance. This is by design that they're putting these names in these movies. It all has to be truth in plain sight. It's part of their magic. It's part of what they do. It's all required with with what they do and how they do things. It's all part of their game.
To give you a bit of an idea, folks, have a look at a lot of the stuff surrounding Biden at the moment. Now, yes. I'm an ex-military man, and certain things in the military, the protocols and that sort of thing, the regulations are followed to the letter. All in perfect timing, well rehearsed, you know it inside and out. Now, when you look at this movie that is being played, when you get things like soldiers who are facing the crowd when the presidential limousine passes behind them.
Yeah.
When I was in the military, if you had a staff car, which would be someone with a VIP, general, colonel, whatever above, if you didn't salute that vehicle, like turn around physically, salute that vehicle, you would have a sergeant major's boot up your backside so fast you wouldn't know what the hell hit you. And that's just one example. Just recently you had the photos of Biden with the Marine at the Tomb of the Unknown Warrior. Here he was with his rifle reversed, yet no hat on. Again, a military man with it being outside without a hat. Ooh, huge no-no. Inside, if you walk inside and you have your hat on, you'll have the sergeant major's foot in your backside, and you'll hear some pretty colourful vocabulary very fast. I assure you.
I'm sure.
Things like at President Biden's inauguration. Now, there were 3 cannons there. Now, if you know anything about military funerals, you have 3 cannons, or depending on your rank, sometimes they are riflemen. So, but there's always a 4th, which is if in case of a misfire, the 4th will fire the round, but it'll happen so quickly that you'll only hear the 3. And this is part of the military precision and backup.
Oh yeah.
So, but with an inauguration, there was only 3. Yeah, you go and look at President Trump when he was inaugurated. There were 4 cannons.
4.
Because you had 3 salvos of 21. Oh, sorry, 3 salvos of 7 give you 21.
7, which is 21. That's
all
right.
So you don't have 3 cannon, because remember, one's a spare. So what President Biden actually had was, in effect, a funeral, not an inauguration.
Saying goodbye.
And it's I mean, these are just simple examples, folks, where the military, although it's being shown as being correct, they're not. Horribly not. Things like your uniform, when you're in plain view, certain insignias which are on those uniforms, which should never be there. depending on the branch and that sort of thing of who you're serving.
That's right.
You're seeing it more and more and more. These people are actors. They have no fucking clue, excuse my French, how a uniform needs to be presented.
Yeah.
No idea. And that is how I'm confident on what's going on is nothing but a fairy tale.
Fairy tale, absolutely. Yeah, make-believe movie, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got photos myself here of the inauguration on the steps, and I look at the military uniforms that are being presented, and I've got a side-by-side comparison photo compared to Trump's inauguration, and even the uniform itself is fake. Yeah, it's a fake uniform. It's a fake general. It's not even as you said, it's not a real inauguration. It's a funeral. It's his way of saying bye-bye. Publicly. Yeah. And to know that the soldiers had their backs turned to the procession as they drove, the motorcade procession as they drove through, that's not saluting their commander in chief. That's actually turning their back on it because they know full well that he's not the real commander in chief.
That's an insult, right out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if it's not an insult, it is an absolute huge deviation of your duty, your responsibility, honour, the whole 9 yards. And
that just shows me that the military don't support Biden. That's what it shows me, is that they do not support this so-called president or his administration. Otherwise, they'd be saluting him and facing frontwards.
Yeah, it's just one of the many things, and more I'm hearing that is coming out of the US, where the Biden administration is not even there.
No.
What we know as Washington DC is empty.
It's empty. There. Try Tyler Perry. Try Tyler Perry Studios, everyone. Tyler Perry Studios, Southern California. That's where you'll find the fake White House and complete set. And you'll find everything that's coming out of the so-called White House right now is actually coming out of Tyler Perry Studios. And if you want a really good hint as to how you can tell it's the actual real White House or not, the real White House doesn't have a car park behind the main White House Oval Office main front windows. You go to Tyler Perry Studios, you'll know. So check it out, people. And not just that, the real White House walls inside the office actually are joined. Tyler Perry's aren't. They're on wheels. So check it
out. It's all in the details.
It's
and go looking for the small detail. Because that's how sloppy these guys are.
Well, that's exactly. Well, I think perfectly. I mean, if it is in the White Hat's control, like they say it is, these small details are being put out there for the keenest of eyes to see specifically to show how much this is a bullshit movie in plain sight. And really, it's just waiting for the rest of, so-called, most of humanity to wake up to the rest of it, whilst the military is still doing their thing. It's just, it's funny how much it's just truth in plain sight right in front of us, but it just takes a keen eye to see it. Like in saying that, I mean, just this document here alone, talking about the Mobius Corporation, Umbrella Corporation, right? I saw this one here, if you can all see, Hulk Program, okay?
Yep.
Hulk Program is actually part of the Super Soldier Program. Now, I'm not sure if people know this or not, but the original first Hulk movie that came out with Eric Banner in it back in early 2000s, if you all remember, I think it's the desert base that they actually took the Hulk to, was actually run by Raytheon. Okay, and it says it on the wall, on the actual wall in the actual movie. It says Raytheon Industries right there on the wall. Truth in plain sight, right again, showing us that the actual Hulk program, even in that movie, is actually real. So just showing you right there, Hulk program right at the top there, second line down. And the fact that Raytheon is a real military-industrial complex corporation that works directly with the arms industry and super soldier programs of the Black Ops community. It just shows you right there. It's been named right there, Hulk program. So you can't argue with that.
Yep.
It just blew me away when I saw that. This document, I'm leaving it up here while we're talking so that people can actually read it whilst we're talking. Oh, geez, all of a sudden my mouse isn't working. There it is. Now my mouse is working. But I've left it up so people can read it while we're actually talking about this stuff because, at the same time, I mean, yes, we should be talking about it as well, but I mean, we've got some individuals, some of our audience that are up to page 132. There's others that are probably only up to page 6. But still, just knowing that this is there, I mean, people can actually take some of these names, write them down, go and actually search for them. Don't use Google. Don't use Chrome. Use independent search engines. Use DuckDuckGo. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get the right answers otherwise. But
just
knowing that these things are here. Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
I'll tell you now, folks, there's several of these orders that you're seeing up on the screen now.
Yes.
There are child sacrifice, which is part of that right.
Yeah.
For you to get up into the higher echelons. And this is part of not only the satanic rituals that they perform, but it is also part of a way in which they know you're not going to squeal, because if you squeal, then they'll do you for child pedophilia, murder, everything else. And
they'll hang you out to dry. They'll hang their own out to dry in a heartbeat.
And this is how they keep everyone in line, by fear.
Yep.
Fear of destruction.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, it's a good. I mean, as much as it's a heinous, egregious, disgusting, vile act that they commit, in some ways it's a good way of their insurance of knowing full well, as you said, that none of them will squeal, because, as you said, they squeal, they'll hang you out to dry. It's a good insurance policy for each other to make sure that they don't fucking talk. Excuse me, sorry.
I just need to quickly duck away for a second, Chris. I'll be back in
Sure thing, mate. No problem. But as you can see, people, I mean, like, we've got these, look at this, Black Mirror technologies. Now, I'm a Stargate fan. I know that Black Mirror was actually shown in one of the episodes of Stargate SG-1. Okay, Black Mirror technologies, Microsoft, Western Digital Corp, MCR Corporation, Logitech International, Hewlett-Packard, Nokia, Novell, AT&T, Sirius Satellite Radio Incorporated. I mean, it just goes on. All teachers, professors, principals, headmasters, and all those associated and educated-related activities that are aligned with the defendants, including universities, colleges, schools boards, education, respective boards, including governmental ministries, departments, and superintendents that are all in alliance with the enemy by assemblies of Congress, etc., worldwide. Oxford University, all incorporated educational academics and schools, academies. Tesla Corporation, I mean, Jesus, it just, it covers every base. No stone is left unturned. I mean, from what I've seen through this document, I mean, I've been through these 25 pages myself quite intensely, and had a good look. I mean, look at this, World Health Organization right there, peeps. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Yeah, World Health Organization, CDC. All of this. Look at this. It just keeps going. Healthcare and government-owned age groups. Jesus, that's what I mean. It's just going to continue going. All graphene producers that are in alignment with the enemies. OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, Water Treatment Management. Wow. And the enemy chemical, pesticide, fertilizer corporations and companies, Aluminum Company of America, National Research Council, Fluoride Lawyers Committee.
For those who could actually be listening in America, be very, very careful at the moment on what your railway companies are doing. I've had reports come to me that full trains, full of, or tanker rail wagons, full with chemicals, are being left in passing loops, but also they happen to be near your waterways.
Yep. Specifically your waterways for a reason and purpose.
Yeah, and we're not just talking one or two cars. No. We're talking 100 at a time.
100
so we're talking thousands upon thousands of litres of toxic chemical. Just be very, very careful, folks, because if that is targeted, especially from the air, your water supplies are in very, very high danger.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all saw what happened with Ohio recently. And a plane took a photo. I saw a photo recently of what a plane took over the actual Ohio State area after that train crash. That lit those specific chemicals on fire and changed the actual constitutional molecular. How do they call it? The molecular structure of these chemicals by adding fire to the actual mix, changed it and actually left a black plume, a cloud. So it was so wide. I mean, it was seen from the sky. It was looking straight back down. It was huge. So anything that rains back down on is completely permanently contaminated, as well as your waterways. Okay, so that means food, agriculture as well. So you're not just looking at your water. This is an ecological disaster waiting to happen that they are specifically targeting right now. So yeah, as Bob said, be careful, and that doesn't matter where you are right now, because I mean this could be going on in any country right now, any country.
And so, also, folks, just be very careful of high volumes of milk in and around waterways. Milk is actually, although we drink it and that sort of thing, in high volume, because of the antioxidants in milk, if that gets into waterways, not only one will it pollute your waterways, but two, it will also kill all of your aquatic life because it sucks all the oxygen out of the water. So just saying, folks, something that looks innocent may not be. And again, this is high volume milk we're talking about.
Yeah. Thousands of deciliters.
Yeah.
Being dumped. Yeah. Another thing I was going to say as well, because I mean, this document might outline it. I haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm sure that they'll probably touch base on it. But if any of you haven't seen any of the videos floating around lately about calcium phosphate, if you haven't seen any of those videos, I suggest you highly go and watch it, because anything that you've got calcium phosphate in, from your supermarkets to general everyday things, you're going to be surprised what you find about calcium phosphate and what they're doing with the dead, and the lack of regard that they have for your bones as such, because that's exactly what it is. Calcium phosphate is ground down, grinded to dust powder bone, and that is what is being added to your food as an additive right now. Calcium phosphate. So if you see anything on the label that says calcium phosphate, get rid of it. The chances are you're going to be walking out of there with a shopping trolley with nothing in it, because everything has calcium phosphate in it. So yeah, it's pretty disgusting what they're doing with how would you say let's just say leftovers, if you will, because that's a pretty good way of not a good way, of course. I'll rephrase that. It's a pretty damn sure way of being able to get rid of the evidence, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, after all these years, 30 years, we've been hearing about snuff films. What snuff films? Well, it must have been these bastards committing heinous acts in Vegas hotel rooms, on old 9mm film. Those films never bloody got out to the public because they were all kept bloody private. But we've got to wonder why snuff films were created, because that's what they were doing. It wasn't just some random guy. That was them. That was the elitists. That was what they got up to. I've heard some pretty heinous shit for any of our American friends that are tuning in out there. I've heard some heinous shit, and I'll say it straight out worldwide right now, about Adam Schiff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that son of a bitch. He's one of the most grossest son of a bitches that you'll ever lay your eyes on. And I won't even speak about what he's done, even though I know about it, because I've read about it. And my God,
I'll tell you now, folks, some of the things that I know about your politicians and some of your church leaders from America, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, UK. Some of what I know will absolutely turn your guts inside out and make you absolutely sick to the core being human. And these filth, these worms, germs, they should not even be breathing air. And they have the bloody gall to turn around and tell the likes of you and I how we need to live our life. Bugger off.
Exactly. Yeah. This was another one that really got me as well. This part here.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep. We'll be touching base on this quite extensively at some stage in the near future. whether it be on my channel or together with Carl's and Bob with me, all together on Carl's channel. But we will be talking about this in very intensely due to the fact that right now this is the most imperative part that's about to unfold right before humanity's eyes. And a lot of people aren't, I will say it, no one's prepared for it because there's so much disinformation and the fact that history has been rewritten in the favor of those that have been the victors of war, so to speak. You know, I mean, you just look at the syntax of history, his story, okay? It's his story, the one that rewrote the world in their image, so to speak, after their victorious war. So that's what history looks at, you know, and how it's broken down. It's his story. The one that was the victorious one in war rewrote history in their favor. So, I mean, you look at this stuff, they've deleted and redacted, excuse me, all of this stuff from history. I mean, this stuff goes back thousands of years. You know?
And
what is it that you can touch base on that one, Bob?
Even just yesterday with your coronation of King Charles III.
Yeah.
There is that much. The best way to describe this. There are that many references to Roman domination and occupation there in that one ceremony.
Yeah.
Like I watched it for probably 15 minutes before I was sickened and turned it off.
You too.
Within that 15 minutes, I saw maybe 40 different signs of symbolism.
Yeah.
And it all ties in to the Roman Empire and the church.
Yep, I totally agree. Totally agree. It was rampant, the whole ceremony, filled with symbolism.
Things like the laurel wreaths on top of the ladies' heads.
Yes.
Now, that is not only is it a symbolism of the women's Freemasonry, it is also a very, very big sign for domination, Roman domination. Caesar wore the laurel wreath.
Caesar, perfect example. He wore that wreath around his head as well. Exactly.
Correct. And and what is the Romans? The Romans are the front for the Phoenicians. You take the Phoenicians back, and you start rolling their history right back. You start to come in to now your Dracos and that sort of stuff.
That's right.
And their weaponry, it's all been disguised.
Exactly.
Truth that you know it, and history that you know it. Yeah, like I don't know everything, but
his claim to
from the stuff that I've researched, the church especially is something that you'll never ever get your head around.
No,
that deception runs so deep. Where virtually all religion is nothing but a farce, and what people truly know is the Bible, or the true Bible that came out of the Church of Isaiah way back, you know.
Yes.
Which is actually living with nature and connecting with spirit properly, is everything that the church turns around and says you must never do.
Yep, reverse inversion. Exactly.
Yep. And just start asking yourself the question, folks. Start looking. But don't, again, as Chris said before, do not use Google, because it will not give you that answer.
That's right. Use any other search generator you can that's out there, because, it's all controlled. It's all meant to give you the answers they want you to hear, not the ones you want to hear.
Exactly. Or rather, the ones that you need to hear.
The ones that they want you to hear. That's right, yeah. Now, I was just looking at this while you were talking there, Bob, and it says here, Zeta Reticuli, a.k.a. Shambhala. Now, I thought that word Shambhala was directly connected to the Nepalese and their inner Earth societies, inner Earth cities, the city of Shambhala and Shangri-La. Now, why is this being referred to the Zeta Reticulans, which we know as the Sikar Nebu Empire, being the tall rays?
Okay, all right. Well, Shambhala is actually the underworld.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The world within the earth.
Yes.
And if you understand what has happened to the top side of the earth where there was a huge war with massive energy weapons that, we certainly can never understand or never did understand. That's definitely off-world stuff. It was decimated. So what do? They went underground. They made an existence underground.
Right.
Hence why you have all these DUMs or deep underground military bases.
Yes.
But there's more than that. And this is what our soldiers and Space Force have been digging out and getting these bastards out.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the realm that we know, it's the underrealms and the ones above that also had to be cleared out. Hence why things are taking so long, folks.
Yeah, that does make sense. Just knowing, as I said, this document as such, it clearly outlays exactly, what we're seeing before us is stuff that's already transpired during this war, especially, in however many years since 1913 was the implementation of the plan to finally take down this group, till now, but seeing the outline of it and knowing full well that this is being released now, knowing that these things have transpired, happened already, and actually been charged and executed for, knowing that it just shows you how intricate, how well woven this web was weaved, and how many thousands of years it has taken in order to get to where we are now, where they are now, you know what I mean? To the point where everything that they sat there saying we should fear through their bloody indoctrination system of religion, when in fact it's them that was in fear of what was coming for them. This is all outlined clearly. It shows everyone exactly why this is taking so bloody long, because it's thousands of years of shit that needs to be undone that we have really no concept of. As Bob said, we don't claim to know everything, but we are quite happy to share with you all what we know so that you can share it with others and go and research too, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to try and tell you how to think, what to think, or what to look at. We're just giving you tidbits of information so that you can go away and have a look at this stuff. Because it's worthy of everyone's attention at the end of the day. As bankers have said in the past, that if the people knew tomorrow how we run the country and how the money is printed, they wouldn't be existing. There'd be a war, overnight. Break down social services. All the worst parts that you could possibly ever imagine: rape, pillage, plunder, looting. Everything of the whole society that we've known to keep some sort of semblance towards would break down overnight. It would just break down overnight. So you can see why this has taken so long, people. We get sick of sometimes hearing, "Oh, this is taking so long." I don't care. I don't care how. I care that how long it takes, in the sense that this should be getting to the end soon. But I don't care about the people that are going to sit there and whinge about, "Oh, this should be over already." I'm sorry, it's over when it's bloody over. And for those that are within the civilian community that don't understand how military operations and tactics work, then seriously go and read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Because that there will outline exactly as to why this is taking so long. Because you must always be 5 steps ahead of your enemy if you wish to outsmart, outwit, outplay, and win the war in your favour. So seriously, people, just go on. The document here outlines everything, and that's just why it's taken so long. But if you want to seriously understand military tactics and operations, read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, I'm just wondering, would you have you ever actually done any research, Bob, in regards to Marduk?
No, not Marduk. No, he's not. It hasn't been one on my hit list. But then again, I've had my energies elsewhere.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? But just like I was reading before, on the 200th page about the AI, black goo, etc., and the fall of Lucifer, and how Lucifer is directly related to that. Marduk is apparently Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and just think of this too, folks, that the black goo, it's normally called oil.
Oil, yeah.
You put it in your car. Your medicine is made of it.
Yes, oil-based pharmaceuticals.
For a reason.
Oil-based pharmaceuticals. That's exactly right. Actually, I was going to mention to people quickly as well. I mean, I know that we keep talking as much as we are going to go through the document and stuff like that, little bit by little bit. The fact that the word pharmacy, okay, people, the word pharmacy derives directly from ancient Arabic, the word pharmakia. Okay, the word pharmakia, you'll notice as in being pharmacy, very similar. The word pharmakia means the act of mixing chemicals, compounds, and agents together to get an illicit response. What's that called, in other words? Witchcraft and sorcery.
Yes.
Okay, so go and have a look at that. Learn about these things, because really, I mean, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind once you learn and actually open up to these concepts and the real syntax of words and meanings behind them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this thing is, folks, a lot of what's out there is wordplay.
Wordplay.
Now, I understand that from the Tatarian side of things, yeah, which was a very complex alphabet language, you have actually been thrown back into the Dark Ages, as it were. So your understanding, or everyone's understanding, has now been thrown back into a very, very basic level. So when these new words come out, start digging, find out what they really mean. Things like a perfect example would be horizon. Now, you and I think, okay, sun, it's on the horizon, but do you actually understand where the word comes from? So, if you break horizon down, right, you have what they call the 12 steps. Excuse me. You have the my mind's just gone absolutely off track here.
That's okay, mate. That's okay.
Okay, so the city of the sun is called On in ancient, right? And you had the 12 steps, which was the 12 steps of the sun for 12 hours.
12 hours a day.
And hang on, Rowie. Yeah, sorry, that's right. And you had the Eye of Horus. Horus is your sun god. So hence why the Egyptians will have the symbol for Horus.
Yeah.
So what a horizon actually is the 12 steps of the sun throughout the day. That is horizon. That is the true meaning of the horizon. And when Horus left at the end of the day, or his day was done, he would drop below the horizon.
Yep, drop below the horizon. Exactly.
So now the city of the sun no longer had the power.
That's right.
And I mean, Jordan Maxwell is an absolute fantastic resource for a lot of the theological words. Go look him up. But yeah, he's only one. Yeah, and yeah, there we go. That's the start of. So anyway,
it's pretty good breakdown of the word horizon.
But it's
pretty good breakdown of the word horizon.
Out there, it's wordplay, but it's how those words are used, and many people, sometimes the order is different, and it will mean very, very different things. In admiralty law versus common law is a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
just looking there. Look at this particular word just here, mate. See that particular word there, Omicron. Where have we heard that recently, people? Hey, hey. As much as it's an acronym from moronic.
Mm-hmm. And this is not by coincidence, folks. Again, wordplay.
Not. So even looking at the stuff about the Draco Prime, the Queen of the Draco Prime, the Alpha Draco, the Kappa Draco, Okay, these are the red, the blue, the black, and the green Draco that have been here on this planet. Now, I'm not sure if you've recognized this, but I mean, the fact that I've referenced a red-colored Draco, what is the devil? If people want to sit there and talk about the devil as such being an actual being, well, then that would have been it. A Draco reptilian with red skin, who they've actually described as being a demon or devil. Okay, it's just a word, syntax, wordplay again. It's something to describe in their vocabulary as such to describe what is in front of them, whatever was available to them at the time. I'm sure that other civilizations would use different words. The fact that there is a red Draco. Okay, you got green Draco. You look at the different civilizations and cultures that have actually had green Draco as part of their symbology. I think you and I were talking about this once before, weren't we?
Yes,
in relation to
NZ. Most certainly were.
Yeah. And so I was going to say, would you like to touch base basically on the tiki and break down on that?
There's one thing I'll bring in before that as well. Some of the older people around us here, that have joined us, have you ever walked into a room and you have a sudden hatred for someone in that room, and I mean absolute hatred for someone, and that particular person would often wear either a perfume or a deodorant or whatever, but they plaster it on so thick it almost chokes you.
Yeah.
Now you've got about a 90% chance that you've just met yourself a green Draco. And yes, I have met face to face Draco. And
it's a pretty good,
let's say they are not nice. They use perfume and that sort of thing to disguise their body odor. They absolutely reek to us.
I was going to ask you, I've got a description of what it smells like, but would you agree that they smell like burnt cinnamon?
Yes. Yeah. It's a very, very distinctive odor. But it's one you cannot. Yeah, it's one you just can't stick your finger on straight away until you really smell it, and then start to understand the scent. But I can guarantee you have an absolute hatred for them, because that is actually your aura picking up theirs. And believe you me, they are nothing at all about love. To them, you are food, both energetically and physically. Yeah.
I agree completely.
So
they're even talking about the black goo here. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're even talking about the black goo, right here in this next line down: artificial intelligence, nanological, robotic, graphene synthetics. DNA that is used against God's creations, artificial thought forms, artificial life forms. Okay, synthetic industry, people. Synthetic industry is very alive and well. If any of you have seen the extended movie Prometheus, the extended version of Prometheus with the creation of David at the beginning, which is a synthetic robotic humanoid. Okay, if you look at that, that is truth in plain sight, and it is no different to how they made Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Now, as much as these things, go for it, Bob. Go for it, mate.
I was going to say your beauty industry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
take a huge look about what they stick in that.
Yeah.
There's everything from child DNA. I'll say it nicely. Animal DNA. There's artificial AI in there, and it's all there for you. It's a way in which you can. It's a way in which they can help you create a fake reality, because majority of what.
Well, that's what the word makeup is to make one up.
Absolutely, and steer you away from reality. To give you an escape, alcohol,
to lead you into
drugs.
a disillusioned world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, escapism, exactly right. To make one up to be something they're not. That's what makeup is.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
yeah, absolutely.
Steve, it's more than just baby foreskin as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
goes far deep.
There's a hell of a lot more. And when you start understanding adrenochrome and child abortion and everything else, why abortion clinics are very, very close to these manufacturers of makeup and everything else.
Planned Parenthood America and Planned Parenthood Australia. Absolutely. I was actually thinking to myself the other day when I was walking through my flat. I was doing a bit of housework here, and one of those Revlon ads came on in the background. They're talking about hyaluronic acids and how it keeps your skin plump, firm, and rebuilt with and regenerating. What do they call it? What's that?
Collagen and all that sort of
thing. Collagen, exactly. Thank you, collagen, and how it rebuilds collagen cells. Now I'm wondering what's that made from. I'm thinking to myself straight out, well, there's got to be a connection there. Because, I mean, it's regenerative. Where are the chemicals coming from? Or if they are chemicals, are they just other forms of byproduct left over from whatever they've done? And this is the way, in order to pass it off to the public as a product that is so-called good for you, so to speak, when in fact it's actually coming from children.
Yeah.
Would you possibly agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, you go to these abortion clinics or hospitals and that sort of thing where the body parts they're meant to be incinerated and disposed of in a proper biologically safe method.
Yeah, exactly right.
Trust me, a lot of this stuff, it isn't. It goes to certain factories and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I mean, just look at the groups who make McDonald's bloody chicken nuggets, for example.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's been busted worldwide now. We know that that's a factor now. It's actually real. So, I mean, look at this. I mean, Lucifer, Marduk. There you go. Asmodeus, Kirill, Azazel. There's the name there. Abraxas, right there.
Yep.
Can't lie. Janus program. That was in the movie bloody Judge Dredd. The Janus program was all about cloning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, these are words not by chance. These are words directly put in movies for a reason. It's truth in plain sight, everyone. Baal, Marduk, wife of Enlil. Well, there you go. They got that wrong there. That name there got that wrong. Enki is not even a part of that. So this is where I could call bullshit on some of the actual document, whoever's written it. Because they haven't got that true part of the history down there. Because we know that he is not even on the planet, and he is back with the sixth branch above us right now. But yeah, just looking at look at all these people, chief justices that are going down, all these different people, all these different actors. I mean, this is just a small list of what we know that already exists. We've seen the lists. All corporate agencies.
Understand that, a lot of these chief justices and that sort of thing, these are very high-level Masons. They are connected to your royal families, the aristocracy. The whole lot is all interwoven.
Yeah.
And for those people that truly think the likes of Jeffrey Epstein, that he committed suicide, straight up. He was murdered outright. They needed him to shut up and be silenced.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just got to look at Ghislaine. I mean, look at the fact that she's got life, okay, and what's been happening since she's actually been testifying as such. What's been going on? What's we seen coming undone? Yeah, she's bringing undone Mossad and everything in the process too. Knowing that her father was connected directly to Mossad, and just the list goes on. So what have we got here? Yeah, yesterday's prayers. But yeah, looking at here, we repent. So the divine light of Holy Council represents and appears on behalf of your people and all souls on earth in our Milky Way galaxy and in our universe that are in service to God, our Creator, and all those in God's chosen future, harvest known and unknown in the waters, lands, and skies, on and in Earth, and on all other planets and galaxies in this universe. Whoa. See, that's what I mean, you know? There is a divine creator in all of everything here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And anyone that doubts that, then, yeah, seriously, you're going to be in for a weird shock.
All I can say is, folks, start meditating. Start meditating and truly allow your heart to be free, and you'll connect with him.
Yeah.
And his and the other realms. What the church says exactly for you not to do, when you start connecting not only with your higher self and your ancestors that have passed, the knowledge that they will provide you is staggering. And I'll tell you what, if you really want to start looking for some answers to what has happened in this world, talk to your ancestors, if you know how.
Absolutely.
And some of what you'll get back and then validate it. It is all there. It's incredible, folks.
They're all still there.
Yeah.
I mean,
like when someone dies,
we've all grown up with Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. When people die, you know, all they simply do is they lose their physical body. That's it.
That's right.
But the energy is
Soul
still around.
Eternal.
That is how real mediums, and there's a shitload of fake ones out there, but this is how real mediums work, because they connect to that energy, and this is why they can bring through things that, you know, no internet or whatever can ever find, because they are specific to that person. And that is how you know it's real, when you get a real one.
Yeah.
But believe you me, there are a hell of a lot of fakes out there. And it's one of the reasons why I have moved back. Because, yes, I'm one of them folks.
Yeah, definitely.
And in time, I'll prove it.
Yep, I know you are. Absolutely, brother. It's gonna be glorious.
You're bang on, mate. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Yep, right on the money.
Transformed. That's right. Change from one state of matter and corporate laws of physics to another state of corporate laws of physics. Yep. You know, the laws of physics that define and govern that state of matter outside of the physical. You know, because there's a set of laws of physics for every state of matter, vibration, and frequency outside of the physical. You know, that govern each and every one of us to a degree. You know, those laws of physics, you know, we've all seen Star Wars, people, Force ghosts, okay? You know, Force ghosts are real. That's why you see movement out of the corner of your eye. That's them. You know, they're all around us all the time, but it's a matter of tapping in and meditating and actually getting connected to that energy and bringing that information back, because they'll provide it. They're just waiting for you to connect.
Yep.
Just waiting for you to connect.
Absolutely there.
Now, looking at this here, like between the planetary logos right down to defined plan, I mean, defined plan is defined as the divine plan created by the one true living God of all creations. So, in other words, of the multiverse, the universe, etc., etc. I mean, you can't mess with that. You can't mess with that. It doesn't matter how much they tried to. They didn't expect it to bite it back on their bum this time around, did they? Not in this lifetime.
Well, that's right. And I mean, when you actually see, you know, exactly what religion is, it's there to do nothing but control and divide.
Yep.
And
that's all it's done throughout history. That's all it's done.
Absolutely. It caused so much death, destruction, and everything, because they're operating in their God. When you actually understand it's a false idol that they're really playing with. And what is God? God's inside each and every one of us. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, whatever. It's all there in you. You don't need a religion.
That's right. I mean, we're made from the very essence and material that the universe is made from, matter. That's what material is, matter. The very corporeal state of photonic light and dark matter that comes out, the state of the Big Bang. We are made from that very creative space dust, and photonic light. You connect with that, everything and anything as such that is past, present, and future all exists right there through God that is within you. It took me a long time to realise that. I mean, like many people, they take up in religion as a young kid, etc. And by the time a certain age comes about, you run from it. Well, I ran from it only to find everything else along the way, only to bring me back full circle to have a now understanding of it. And now I embrace spirit and creation and creator in such a way that I never had an understanding or compassion or love for before. Now I look at it and think to myself, this is everything. It's truth. There's no reason why I should doubt it anymore, because I found the truth of it along my way through my journey, especially through my near-death experience. Knowing that I existed outside the framework of this physical body at 14 years of age. I'm now 50. It's a long time to sit there and know this and have to try and explain that to people that have no comprehension of what a near-death experience feels like, let alone actually is like. And then wait nearly 30 years before you see Doctor Strange on the big screen, movie theaters, and see exactly what happened to you on a screen. You know what I mean? And that's when you're able to sit there and say, that's what happened to me. You know what I mean? It's a hard way to try and, it's a hard thing to sit there and try and keep faith of knowing this stuff along the way. But as I went along the way, the more my faith was, how would you say, backed up. It was re-secured. I felt more connected to it. And so really, I had no reason to run from it anymore. I realized that everything that I was running from still was within me anyway. So I was never going to get away from it, but I had to learn about everything along that circle of the hero's journey to realize that, and if I could sit there and just take a step back from that and look at that little kid that ran from all of that, I'll sit there and say, good on you, mate, and shake his hand and go, good on you, because you made the right decision. I saw through it as a child. But knew full well that whatever was out there was going to bring me back full circle eventually to whatever it is I was running from, including myself. And the truth had to be found along the way. And so I'm thankful to everything that I've actually had, regardless, good or bad, that's happened along my journey, that has brought me to this understanding now, and this, and not understanding, inner standing. That's a better way of putting it. Inner standing, inner knowing, inner feeling. Because under is to be under something. Syntax again. You don't want to be under something because that's under contract. Under someone's control. Having an understanding, meaning having lesser knowledge than another.
Yes.
So the inner standing is a better word to probably use in this case.
I mean, for those that know me and who I really am, and I've spoken to Chris about this as well. I've been right under the darkness of depression. I've had a loaded 12-gauge shotgun in my mouth, ready to pull the trigger. And what changed things for me, especially spiritually, is when I had an angel come down the end and went, no way, you got too much work to do.
Too much. Yeah.
And that was at age 20, folks. A long, long time ago. And ever since then, I've been in and out of depression. However, every time that I've started to get into that side of things, I've looked for the light.
Always.
And Spirit have always been there to help me through. Always. And they have never, ever failed me. Ever. Never lied. They've always been consistent. And that is the one thing that has truly kept me going, including through all this bullshit that we've been through in the last several years.
Yeah.
And
that's actually more so in the last 2 years.
Very, very real. Yeah. Very real. Like being locked in a hotel for 2 weeks at a time for so-called, isolation for COVID. Biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen. No fresh air, no not even allowed to walk outside of your hotel door because you might infect someone or whatever. It's basically that is your jail cell for the next 2 weeks. Spirit kept me going through that.
Yep. And just quickly touching base on that too, quickly, I mean, the fact that they locked us down over a weaponized word. A weaponized word, because none y'all were actually smart. Not most people would actually not even go and look at the actual word COVID-19 in an epidemiologist book. Me being a bit of a cluey little bugger, I like to go on a bit of a research binge and have a look. But it turns out, I mean, right beside it, the next column over, COVID-19 meaning cold and flu.
Yes.
So fair enough, it was a little bit more savage, cold and flu, but I mean our immune systems as such adjust to that. So why get a vaccine for something that your body naturally does?
Yeah, I mean, but biologically engineered, most certainly. And
function research.
Yeah, and if you really, what I can say is follow the money, folks. Look at the patents on it, and when those patents were issued, and then follow the money, and you'll find Fauci right back in the late 80s, early 90s. His name 80s, and a few other scumbags, their names are all over it. And who made big money out of it? Fauci.
Yeah.
And
Fauci.
The US authorities. Yeah, absolutely. He tried that in the 80s and it didn't work.
Yep.
Go and have a look at the poor bastards in India.
Yep. Exactly.
Go and have a look at country. The poor buggers in India. How many million of people died with his vaccines in India? And yet, what do you hear about it on the news? Nothing.
Even Africa.
Yeah, Africa's another one. These places were testing grounds, folks.
Yeah, testing grounds, exactly. I mean, they don't, as Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us.
No.
What I really say is they don't really care about us. Exactly right.
We are bugs, my friend.
Oh, mate. I feel like years ago I felt like I was the bug splattered on the windshield. Now I'm just the wiper wiping them off. They're the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're the bugs now. Yeah, and I'm just a windshield wiper cleaning the way. Yeah, get out of me. Clear the way.
Yep.
Yeah. I really have I don't play into their bullshit no more. So here, the cabal. So for those of you that don't know what the cabal is, I mean, you can pretty much see here. This is who they work for and who they are. And as you can see here, the Sakaar Empire is actually separate from the Draco Reptilians. They're actually referring here that the Sakaar Empire is one and the same. If I believe, from what I understand from Elena Danan, and any of you that don't know who Elena Danan is that's in the audience today, please go and check out elenaDanan.org, okay, or Elena Danan at YouTube, and her friend Dr. Michael Salla on YouTube, and exopolitics.org. I cannot highly stress enough to go and have a look at this information. Elena and Dr. Salla are the first and foremost informed on this planet about these particular groups, the Orion Alliance, the Sakaar Nebu, okay, and the Draco Reptilian. Okay, now I've learned what I know from them. I won't go and ramble on. All I'll say is go and visit those particular groups, elenaDanan.org or exopolitics.org, or both of their respective YouTube channels. Let them inform you. All I can say is this stuff is real. Okay, these are their gods. Okay, these are the ones they truly do their sacrifice to. Okay, but then you've got to look here. You've got the Earth Alliance. So for those of you that don't know who the Earth Alliance, you look here. It says white hats consist of the Earth leaders committed to fighting alongside fighting the cabal and are in partnership with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Okay, now who are the Galactic Federation of Worlds? Well, it says right there, galactic military comprised of many different races from different star systems and planets that have pledged to work for peace and balance in the Milky Way system. So that says it right there. They're fighting alongside for humanity, for the actual for lives, for selves, to be physical, because they understand the actual beauty of how long it takes for a soul to actually make it to the physical incarnation to experience 3D physicality. It's a very long process. You know, I mean, life, love, and everything that has been in creation is what we are fighting for. That's what they are fighting for. You know, so that we are not exterminated by these bastards. You know, you got the Andromeda Council of Zene, or the Council of Zene, the Council of Seven, the Q movement. We know what that is, being cyber military intelligence. Okay, but I mean, like, so go ahead, Bob. Go ahead if you want to touch base.
I was going to say that the Q movement is a little bit more than just the United States. Now, at the time, I didn't know it.
Yeah, global.
All right. At the time, I didn't know it. All right, because I just thought I was working for the New Zealand Air Force and the New Zealand government.
Yeah.
But that is who I was reporting to. And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. The things that I was doing and the people that I was chasing, that information was going back. I'm 99.9% positive now was for Q.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And the fact that they've got here the United States Navy here mentioned as well. Now, so go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, no, just the particular people who I was reporting to. Yeah. One was Navy, one was Air Force, and
all interwoven.
It's very, very connected, and I can't say too much at the moment.
No, that's okay, mate.
The time is not right.
That's right.
But let's say some of the people who I was investigating back then, politicians, church leaders, high-flying businessmen, you name it, and the dirty dealings, the trips to things like Playboy Mansion, over to Washington DC, it's all connected. The pedophilia and everything that's associated with it. Yeah, I mean, even the likes of Rolf Harris. Yeah, he's in there. I knew he was a dirty player. 30 years ago. I could have told you that, but I wasn't allowed to.
30 years ago. Yeah.
And and he started to come outside of the program, and he wouldn't shut his mouth.
Yeah.
So this is what they did to him. This is how they silence their people. Yeah. They get him out of society. He gets thrown in a dark prison cell. And I understand, folks. This is only part of it. If you're a really, really big threat, then you end up like Jeffrey Epstein. They take you out because they don't want you talking.
Yeah, that's right. Have a look at this here. All locations of topics are to be jurisdictionally applied in and from all dimensions, densities, levels, locations, realities, pocket universes, timelines, directions of time in all locations of time and manifolds of time in accordance with the will of the God of all creation. So, I mean, that means the multiverse from the micro to the macro, quantum to the, where we are, or larger, is all real. So we're looking at Ant-Man here, people, the quantum realm. From there up, everything will be regoverned.
Start also looking at Looking Glass too, folks. Operation Looking Glass.
Yes. Have a look at Looking Glass, exactly.
What I will say, because there's more starting to come out about it, Looking Glass is not just one system, folks. To my knowledge, there was around 50.
All right. Okay. I'll get what you're saying now. Sorry. Yeah, 50. Yep.
Okay. So, and these are scattered all over the world, and they're movable.
Yes.
Now, when you zone in on a particular timeline, you would get either video or you would get audio. Now, what you could do is you align two machines to hit exactly the same point at the same time. You've got to synchronize them. And then you get video and audio together.
Right, okay.
Understand, folks, that these were used very, very extensively by the elite.
Yes.
All right. Now, what has actually nobbled that machine is the timelines coming together.
That's right.
Because the
merger.
Yeah, the actual looking glass could not separate, and hence why things are all coming to a head now.
Yes.
And they know, which is why they are doing what they're doing. This is why they're trying to exterminate every one of us. Because
it's why they're trying so hard. Exactly.
Okay, very simply because we have knowledge of it, and they need that knowledge gone.
Yeah.
They do not want the next generation to understand what we know. They want them dumb and subservient.
Yeah. Do not question. Do not use critical thinking. Do not use logic.
Because, so going past the point, they can then reuse that item again. So just saying, folks, if you really want to start having a good look out there, so Operation Looking Glass, and you'll understand what the black cube really is.
The black cube, yes.
Okay, because that is what Looking Glass looks like. It is a black cube. But
just look at the movie
out of that black cube and what's reflected in it, with holographics and the like, there you go.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that at the moment, folks.
Yeah. So looking at this document here, what's this all covering at the moment? Creator's God's commandments, okay. So it shall not interfere with the choice of those that I have created. You shall not take other covenant with another God or creator. It's pretty much straightforward. Admiralty law. Would you like to touch base on this?
Yeah, and Chris, Danielle's just got here, looking back in time.
Yes.
With Looking Glass, they can go back in time, they can go forward in time. They can look at alternative timelines.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so it's take it out of the realms of what we know. There's multiple things happening at multiple times, and all of those timelines have converged on now. And this is why the energies and everything are so up and down. All right, it's because all of this is happening in all timelines right now, and this is why the cleanup is so important. Right now, it is.
It's what I kind of refer to as the Great Compression.
Yes, it is a very wonderful time to actually be alive and experiencing it, because this is happening nowhere else.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more with that. You can one thing I will also extend upon what Bob was just saying as well, that if you wanted to know more about the timelines and the actual timeline wars and how it's actually being played out, have a look at a lot of Dr. Sala's stuff on his channel on YouTube. He actually has a military whistleblower insider talking to him by the name of JP, and that gentleman has actually broken down quite a lot of information as to how the timeline wars have actually been playing out, and how we're now down to one timeline that this is all converging on to right now. So really, at the end of the day, these bastards have got nowhere to run or hide, and there's nothing in this universe they can escape. This is what they tried to project onto us as their fear. It's in fact what they were fearing. So their timeline has run out. Time has run out, and what they thought was still thousands of years of happening has happened in this timeline, in this lifetime, which they didn't count on.
Yes.
You know, and that's why everything is coming apart at the seams right now in the very fabric of reality. To a degree, your worlds that have been built up on these false belief systems and indoctrination systems will fall apart overnight when this does come out. And that is no doubt in my mind.
Okay. How many of you remember the Commander-in-Chief talking about Operation Warp Speed?
Yes, I do. Definitely.
Now,
Warp Speed.
Operation Warp Speed, the mainstream media put it down to the rollout of COVID vaccine.
Disinformation
campaign. You are wrong. It is
totally
not
wrong,
about a vaccine.
Yeah.
It is about shutting these assholes out.
That's right.
Because things like your Stargates, your Hadron Collider in Geneva, all these areas where they can open portals, they've been slammed shut for specific reason. All right? And this is what it's about. Operation Warp Speed is about bringing all the timelines, shutting them down, so these bastards have no escape route. And this is why it's taking so long.
Exactly. I mean, they've got the skies covered, and when you look at the dumbs and everything that they've been doing under the ground with the dumbs for the last fair few years as well, they've got underground covered. So really, where else have they got to go? Water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the water's covered because we've got the Navy, and really, for what you and I have been speaking about behind the scenes as well, what's hiding behind most islands off the coastlines around most countries right now where islands are.
Also, what's hiding in your deep ocean.
Perfect. Yes, we know it's down there. Definitely.
That's not what you think, folks.
The world is not what we've been told, Like, I'm just waiting for something to rise up out of the ocean, or something, to happen in that sense. I mean, we've been shown plenty of movies in the last 30 years that have things coming up from the ocean, whether it be that movie, what's it called? With Ed Harris, and they go down to the bottom of the Laurentian Abyss, or whatever it's called. The Marianas Trench. Yeah, the Marianas Trench. Yeah, what's that movie called? The Abyss?
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
That's there, truth in plain sight right there. That's exactly what's there. And more.
Even go and look in the Hikaringi Trench off the coast of New Zealand. Comes up to Australia. Again, I think it's the second deepest trench in the world. They can't see what's down there for a reason.
Yeah. And they need the deepest parts. I mean, to stay completely hidden, and I mean, know full well that our technology can't reach down that far. We can only go as far as the Titanic, I mean, without really crushing ourselves, But I mean, the Marianas Trench goes down another half mile,
Right.
So, I mean, the pressure down there is that crazy. I mean, there's just no way. Yeah. It's a good way of them being able to, stay out of, plain sight from us and keep completely hidden and stay hidden specifically, But it's just amazing to know that these things are going to be happening in front of us. And, whilst you have the time, everyone, please go and, I can't stress it enough, go and have a look at these channels. Learn about the Secret Space Program. Learn about the Stargate programs. Learn about the Looking Glass programs. Looking at all these off-books black ops programs that have been happening at your expense because it's our tax dollars that are paying for these things, okay? Going and looking at them, informing yourselves and knowing full well that really everything such as your movies, TV shows, etc., right down to Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, everything, all truth in plain sight. It's like they're rubbing it in our face and just going, giving us the finger with a big smile whilst we're looking at it for entertainment purposes, when really they've been doing this for over 26, 30, 60 years, 80 years, in some programs. Some of these programs have been operating for 30 years, some of these programs have been operating for 80 years. It's just a matter of going, informing yourselves, looking at it and actually discerning and intuitively looking at the information and sifting away what doesn't fit with you and resonate, and looking and focusing on directly what does, putting all that information together and get yourself an overall picture, because that's where it'll tell you the truth. It'll show you the truth directly for what it is. And that's how I feel.
And for our US friends, go and have a look at the control of power for your military. Go and have a look where it's been sent to. It has not gone to your Navy. It has not gone to your Army. It has not gone to your Marines. And it sure as hell hasn't gone to the Air Force. Where's it
No.
gone? It has gone to your Space Force.
Sixth
And
branch of the US
how
military,
visible
people.
is your Space Force? Just saying, folks. Have a look.
That's right. And those actual that actual group there, Space Force, or the sixth branch of the US military, you put that together with the Galactic Federation that have returned, that's plural, more than one. Grand armies of the heavens that shall return at the end of days. That is your armies right there, which they feared. And I've got to say it too. I mean, is there a possibility that in ancient times they were using looking glass technology to get such prophecies down pat and so accurate?
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder, were they looking at these technologies?
And but the name that you know is not Looking Glass.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So if you understand the one particular mystic in time, do you know his name? You know the one I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Hermes Trismegistus?
No.
Okay.
But you're getting close.
Oh, okay.
His name is just out of my head at the moment, but he prophesized over many of the world events.
No, Nostradamus.
That's him.
Right.
You're looking
wasn't
glass.
he working with John Dee? Wasn't he working
No.
with John Dee and all of those people, the Black Hats?
Looking Glass is another name for Nostradamus.
Okay.
Looking Glass is not a new technology, folks.
Oh, no, well, not by any means.
It's been around for a very, very long time.
So it makes me then question who was Nostradamus? Was he an actual person? Or is that a made-up name for the actual looking glass device that they used?
Nostradamus is like another Shakespeare, a made-up name.
In other words, right. That makes sense.
It's a way in which they can bring certain knowledge into the world.
Yeah.
Without people actually understanding that this is a machine.
I see through it now. Wow.
Many, many things like your Charles Dickens and that sort of thing is written seemingly by a person. He's not a person. He's a thing.
Fake, right.
All right. Yeah. And when you really start to dig, you'll uncover it. You'll find it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You, as they say, if you look, you shall find. It's just a matter of how much you want to find.
You really have to dig, and again, don't use Google. You'll never find it.
Yeah, can't stress that enough. People.
And if you can, go back to that thing called a library. If they've still got a lot of the old books, go poking around the old high-end bookshops that have the ancient texts.
That's right. Go looking, people. Go looking. I mean, Brisbane City Library, if any of you are in Brisbane, go and have a look in there. That's actually a plethora of information in there. I've been in there many times, and all I do is look at old books there, and I just love the smell. I mean, it's just so... how would you put it? I mean, just the smell itself. I mean, you can smell history itself, even though I don't like using that word anymore now that I know the meaning of it. But you can smell the years and ages past in the pages. You know what I mean? And that's I wouldn't call it an odor, because it's not an odor, because it's not pungent. But that smell itself kind of just reminds you of how much we really take for granted this digital bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something that's tangible. I mean, it's not like you can sit there and grab your laptop and go like that to change the pages. You know, changing the pages is actually sitting there, touching the page, moving it over. Something that you can hold, like money. You know, it's tangible. It's physical. You know what I mean?
And now you start to understand why the Vatican do not want the archives opened up. Because they have many of the old world texts.
Exactly. The Library of Alexandria is in there.
Yeah.
The Library of Alexandria, the Library of Nepal. Oh my God! Like holographic records that are in existence that were taken from the Library of Alexandria. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what story they're going to tell when we get to see them, if we get to see them. But I mean, the books themselves, I mean, that are down there. and the history itself. I mean, it goes for what, 13 miles? 13 miles underneath Vatican City.
They're absolutely massive under there.
13 miles, people. That's a lot of space to store a lot of historical intrinsic value. You know, stuff that's meant to change the world. I mean, if it's being confiscated by these bastards, imagine how much is down in 13 miles worth of underground catacombs. That's a lot of space for a lot of stuff that's been confiscated over history. You know, got to think what's down there. Is there ships? You know, got to ask these questions. Is there any form of ships? Any other sorts of forms of technology? You know, true galactic history of our actual universe. You know, an actual book that was produced or possibly left here behind. Got to ask. You can't ask. You know, we've got to ask all these questions. There's so much more. I mean, like even right down to the very nature of plants and everything that's in nature itself. How they've got every healing quality for every ailment that's out there in the medical world, so to speak, that our body produces. There's got to be some form of healing that exists in nature in a book that exists in this book somewhere put away. I mean, and hence the reason why they created this medical industry they got now with their oil-based pharmaceuticals, etc., because they did not want us they did not want us using natural elements to cure ourselves, because there's far too much money to be made on the bloody pharmaceutical industry.
No money in cures.
No, only keeping people partially cured and giving them a band-aid solution while it still produces a second ailment on the side so that you get sicker is exactly why they designed the system the way they have, and giving us the oil-based products that they are as well. So just looking further down through this, this whole thing. Oh, actually, I would like to read this. I saw this a little earlier. I'd like to point this out. This is actually because it mentions Gene Decode by name. Okay, so we further bring forth as expert witness Gene Decode, who is in complete service to the one and true God of all creations and his Son Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. He has contracted with God to assist in all humanity, all universal nations, and all those that will be that we, the prosecutors, representing this case. In that capacity, Gene Decode brings forth knowledge received from the one true God of all creations. His education, experience, and research make him an expert witness for impartial, independent, and unbiased evidence, and also evidenced by Gene Decode accepting the gift given by your only Son, Jesus Christ. Gene thus is in honour to this court, as he has accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Saviour and has pledged himself to the absolute service to the one true God of all creations. Now, Gene Decode, to be mentioned right there in this document, just goes to show you the level of intel that he's been read in on and how much he is actually speaking truth. And, we've heard stories of people trying to call Gene Decode out for this and that. For his name to be mentioned in this document just goes to show you how much he's been read in by the military alliance. So people seriously consider, if you have thought twice about Gene, this should clarify that for you, that he has now been mentioned in this actual document. And I think he's actually mentioned further down on page 200 as well. So it just shows you he is definitely on our side. So we're at page 20. Look at this already. Just goes so quickly. Fair enough, I have been scrolling and stuff and letting people read as we go through and talk about this stuff because it gives them clarity on some of these subjects as such. But we're really already nearly back up to page 25, which is where we're going to go with Carl. And it's actually going to be quite good to touch base with this on Carl when he comes back. It's actually, going to be interesting to hear about his stories as well from being up north. But what's this here with the highlighted evidence showing on the highest criminal offences and major groups operating within the defendant-specific incidents and topics. Okay, so just basically outlining exactly what they're going to be doing with them. Okay, so Atik Yuum, that's someone's name. That's got to be someone's name, Bob.
That is the name on the front of the document, unless that is actually God's true name. Yeah.
Whoa! Now that just blew me away because, we've always wondered what the true name throughout history of the true creator really is. Wow. Yeah, I never thought of that. Atikyum. I mean, that also sounds slightly, like a Middle Eastern sort of name. Very.
It does.
Yeah, we come now before you, the righteous judge, ancient of days of all creation, in this highest court of heaven, to hear this trial and to make judgment on all charges against the defendants of the invasion, occupation, infiltration, ownership, conquering, to enslave, altering of God's creations, using AI, premeditated murder, genocide, and all subsequent related criminal and civil actions done against your people, humans, all souls, all life in this universe, and to include ownership of the Earth, Milky Way galaxy, this universe, and to include space, the air, water, and firmament. Whoa. That's covering a lot. I mean, following laws, the law of unity logos. I mean, I've read about this stuff, but I mean, that was years ago, and I mean, I've forgotten a lot about this stuff. I mean, law of unity logos. I mean, I was, I think, 22 when I read about that. Yeah. Divine natural law. War crimes. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this number N. Into multiverses and the universal space laws, laws of invasion and treaties as known by this court and unknown by us. Prime directive. Prime directive. That's from Star Trek. Non-interference of an evolving species from an outside source. Space wardens. Jupiter Ganymede Conventions agreements. That goes under the Artemis Accords. There you go. That's something that Elena Danan and Dr. Sala have been directly talking about. This is all in parallel with the Galactic Federation and the 6th branch of the US military. Okay, Lunar Operations Command, the LOC, on the backside of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's not just one base, people. There's actually dozens of bases on the backside of the moon, depending on what space agency and country you are with. Everyone has got something up there, and they're all interconnected.
Okay, Angel Wings has just put down ancient AI, our true and only enemy. Well,
yes.
Yeah, that's folks, because if you truly understand that the analog world,
yes,
we're in harmony with it.
Yeah.
It gave us everything we needed, electricity, motive power, the whole 9 yards.
That's it.
Since then, you've had digital come in. Digital is your enemy.
Enemy, exactly. I mean,
and hey, I know it because I work with this stuff behind the scenes. I know exactly how powerful digital networks and stuff are in your phones, your TVs, your just anything. Back in the day, I was putting signals down certain phone lines. Telecommunication companies wouldn't even know I was there. Yet I could listen to conversations in a room. I could download the contents of your phone
in real time too, people.
In real time. LCD TVs, they can be reversed, so you can actually use them as cameras. But a lot of people didn't know that.
Exactly right.
So, why the big push for 4 and 8K TVs? Yeah, sure, they look fantastic, but it's not because it's a TV, because it's a camera, folks. It looks into your lounge.
Spy device.
So if you're sitting there getting a bit frisky with your partner on the couch, guess what? Someone's looking at it.
Someone's watching you. That's right.
Just saying.
Not to be rude, but you don't want to go get frisky by yourself, either.
That's right. If you truly think that you live in a secure, happy world, no. The only people that are truly happy and free are those people who live off the grid.
Yep. And that is true for you, man. No longer governed by an actual source.
Yeah.
Yep. And they take only what they need. They give back if they have too much. And they don't destroy. They live in alignment.
That's right. They live in harmony.
Natural equilibrium.
Yep.
Exactly, mate. That's called harmony. Equilibrium with your environment. So where have we got now? So I think that's just about to the heavenly judge. Here we go. Between 1940s aggressive. Aha! Okay, let's quickly go and touch base on this because I think we're going on to 2 hours nearly there, Bob.
Yeah.
We should touch on this. What page are we in? Page 24. Yes, one page short of 25, which is what we're short of. Saying that we're going to do. This covers pretty much, if you want to say, the 1940s and started the extraterrestrial, disclosure, so to speak. But yeah, aggressive, negative, non-terrestrial races that came. Time for conquest of power and domination, including the Matia, tall greys, and the Kili Takut, tall whites. I've heard about them being mentioned by Elena in the past, the Kili Takut. Okay, I've heard of them being mentioned. Here also species called the Sakar Empire, that's wrong again, okay, referred to as the reptilians. Okay, because from what Elena has actually mentioned in the past, that the Sakar Nebu are the grey, not the tall greys, but the ones that are very malevolent. That were. Anyone ever seen X-Files? Okay, what they call MyLab abduction programs, military alien. Program where they worked alongside each other. We give you, technology. You can take as many humans as you want for reproductive purpose, experimental, etc., etc. That's what that group was. They weren't a very nice grey group. They were very malevolent. The group, ever heard of the story Travis Walton? The story of Travis Walton and up in northern Colorado hills where he was taken back in the 1970s. I believe he had an encounter with the Sakar Nebu, judging by what they did to him in that movie Fire in the Sky. But yeah, you got the Sakar Nebu, the reptilians from Alpha. See, Sakar, they come from Orion. Reptilians come from Alpha Draconis. See, this is where they got it mixed up. Okay, this is where they got it mixed up. This is where whoever has written this document, they haven't gotten the true element of what this information truly is. But I'll correct that right now for everyone so you understand. Systems in search of conquest, power, slavery system that has been used to parasitize. Wow, okay. So
a bit of it to become parasitic upon the...
Parasitic, yes. Solar energy and program on the masses. The German Nazis formed an alliance with this aggressive species, which was the reptilian everyone. Okay, they made an actual pact with the reptilians in World War II, hence the reason why they had their anti-gravity aircraft back then. Okay, once the Nazis basically left after World War II, they created the Dark Fleet, which is now still or has been actually shut down, from what I understand recently. But the reptilians helped them with that. Reptilians, the Nazis, space travel in exchange for Earth's resources and underground facilities, military deep underground bases called DUMBs. Further, in the United States, President Eisenhower's administration, military-industrial complex, referred to Majestic 12 or MJ-12, signed secret agreements with the Orion Greys and the reptilians back in this year of 1954. That further backs up Laura Eisenhower's information that she's been disclosing for nearly 20 years. And I only discovered her in the last 12, but that actually further backs up her story right there. That her great-grandfather was actually sold out by MJ-12, and they signed the secret agreement behind his back, and pretty much they tried to blame it on Eisenhower. There was two groups that he met with, one being the Nordics, first one, and the second one being with the Orion Greys. And they turned down the Nordics and said, no, we just started our weapons program with the atomic weapons program. No, we're not shutting it down. Greys came in, said, yep, no worries, take as many humans as you want, give us as much technology as you can. That's the truth. Go and research it, you'll find out for yourself. Laura Eisenhower, go and check her out. Eisenhower's administration, secret agreements with Orion Greys, MJ-12. Okay, the agreements referred to as the Grenada Treaty. And these events furthered a planetary war on the Moon, Mars, and Earth. The Orion group, called the Sakar Empire, were promised humans to be experimented on in exchange for more advanced technology. There you go. Over the years, the ethics in their operations dwindled, and large numbers of the humans have been trafficked to the reptilian and Orion alliances. Large numbers of humans. Your people have been sold or abducted for several purposes, including genetic experimentation, slave trade, and even a food source. Okay? For the reptilians, humans that have been forced against their will and taken to DUMBs, Antarctica, the Moon, Mars, and over 500 planets. Yes, 500 planets. In the Milky Way galaxy, the Cabal and Earth became involved with these invaders, and world governments became compliant to their demands. They were fooled and tricked by the invaders, and gradually all government nations on the Earth were run by malevolent. Where is it? Sorry, I just lost my. Where is it? Malevolent non-terrestrial species. At this time, they have developed an extinction vaccine with the overt intention of helping humanity. There you go, people. That's what we just went through for the last 2 years, written in black and white, right there for you all. And all for the purpose of either A, killing us off and exterminating, or this one word right here. Transhumanism 2.0. The merging of technology with biological.
Yeah. Okay? Now, if you also understand, folks, 5G and the black boxes that were put under those towers by your commander-in-chief.
Yep.
All right. He has actually stopped millions of deaths because of those black boxes being put in by actually changing the frequency in which these 5G transmitters transmit at.
Yes.
And upsetting the frequency, they could not carry out what they needed to.
No, they're going to use their phones as well as in.
Yeah. So what would actually happen? Your phone literally would turn against you.
Yep.
And you would actually drop dead.
Yep.
Why they needed you to have continual upgrades? Is they need as much of the stuff in your body as possible, because your body naturally tries to get rid of it.
That's right.
Hence why, even to this day, they are still pushing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at it. The fact that they're still pushing boosters right now on TV. 3 months to the day from your first booster, or from from whatever clot shot you had. 3 months to the day. It's called breaking down your immune system constantly so that you do get sick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The word vaccination, it's just another word wrapped up in new packaging called inoculation, really. It's what they gave to it's what they gave to the Jews before they sent them to the chambers, the showers with no water. They give them a smallpox vaccine once they enter the camp. And that's what they called it back then. It was inoculation. So today, it's just a repackaged word called vaccination.
Yes.
No different, peeps. No different. It's just a matter of learning the syntax and phonology. So where was it? The Cabal on Earth has been involved with these planets. Okay. At this time, they have developed an extinction vaccine. Yep. But, okay. Covertly, it is a biological AI weapon to destroy all life that was made by God the Creator, as just revealed by Bob and myself. Their inherent, we believe, is to change the biological human into AI cyborgs known as transhumanism 2.0. In accordance with their plan, they have set up corporations disguised as to operate as national governments by fraudulently impersonating and misrepresenting nations and governments worldwide. Within their blueprint game plans and operating systems, they use blackmail, projection, and ruthless means to meet their objectives. The defendants have structured and opened fraudulent banking and financial corporations to launder and steal money from you, from your people, while maintaining and financing their agenda. So it's pretty well laid out for you, right there.
And if you people don't actually realise that that's going on, have a look at the New Zealand government right now.
Word.
And the shit that they're pulling. And talk to some New Zealanders on the ground, and you'll see exactly how far this lot has gone. This is why Jacinda is now suddenly disappearing.
Hasn't she disappeared rather quickly?
Yeah. Jack is, with his swinging dick, he's gone. Yeah, and this is why they're now put in old Chirpy Chippy, as he's nicknamed in New Zealand. He's the new Prime Minister, and he's now pushing these vaccines even harder and stopping benefits and all sorts, because he wants everyone vaccinated. Because New Zealand is the test ground, folks.
Yeah, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Yep. The main testing grounds for the global rollouts, That's exactly right.
Correct, because we're far enough away from the bulk of the population, which is why we are being used.
Yep.
And
Exactly,
New
mate.
Zealand is the main testing ground, and if they can push it, then you'll find the premiers of Australia will follow suit.
Will follow suit. Exactly right. It's all part of the same agenda. Exactly right. They have to. They're actually indemnified to do it.
Well, they have no
required to
option.
respond.
Yeah, the governments are bought out. They have no option. They will implement those plans, irrespective of who is in power.
That's right. Doesn't matter who's in power. They have to roll with it. They have to roll with it regardless. But most of them are all bought and paid for, and someone's hand right up to the elbow inside these days, puppeting these bastards. So, yeah, it just ensured that they had someone that was definitely compliant along the way. They would make sure that their agenda was met. So what are we on now? Page 25, are we? Yes, page 25.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, if you want, we'll leave it at page 25, mate. As much as we've touched base on a few bits and pieces, I mean, we've probably covered a lot of the things that Carl wasn't able to touch base on, but he's also covered other parts that we weren't able to touch base on as well. So I think if anything, we've kind of backed each other up there and made a bit of an interlock there. So we've actually covered the bases, so to speak, which will kind of leave us in a bit of a good position between now and when Carl would possibly like to do a show. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll go, probably continue on from page 25 onwards, because I think Carl got up to page 25 or 30. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was 25. But regardless, we'll continue on with that, and we'll actually make a really good. We'll be able to present some really good information from our knowledge and be able to share with all of you as well. Bob, I know, will be back at some stage as well to join us with that. I know that you've been pretty busy lately as well, buddy, and even myself on the side. Mate, no problems if you can't make it. I'm quite happy to go ahead with you with Carl as well. But be great if you can make it for that. I'm sure that he'll probably be in contact with you. I was going to say, if you want to leave it today from here on in, mate. I was going to say, we've been doing 2 hours and 12 minutes now, brother, and I'm sure you got probably a whole heap of other things that you still need to do this afternoon that I don't want to really hold you up from, and I know that Renee's probably waiting for you as well. But I was going to say, is there anything else that you would like to specially say this afternoon before we close up this afternoon, buddy?
I'd just like to say to folks out there is, and just take a step back and get the big picture on really what is happening, and do what you can to, get not only yourself but your family, your neighbours. Start mentioning some of the stuff in general conversation, getting your supplies, your medication, whatever, just getting yourself through. Because when this all comes to pass, it's going to be one hell of a wild ride, and there's going to be people out there who are going to be very, very scared, very, very frightened. And the biggest thing that you can give them is love, comfort, and just tell them, look, we got this. Just ride it out. And, there is a much, much better world coming, folks. A world that somewhere, for the old souls that are out there, we used to live. We weren't being poisoned by everything. We lived in harmony. And that will come back. And just be kind to yourself, folks. Be gentle. Take the time for you. There's wicked energies happening at the moment, and there's a lot of upgrades and stuff that are happening. Just be kind and gentle to yourself first and foremost. And don't get angry. Just ride with it, because when the time comes, we're going to need as much love as we can on this realm.
And we're going to have ultimate compassion and empathy for one another and our plights, because there are levels of trauma and PTSD that everyone has gone through on different levels, and we need to actually gain an understanding of true compassion and empathy for another if we are to truly change this society, this culture, and this civilization. How we act, how we speak, how we treat, how we think, how we approach one another. Everything has to be changed from one end to the other. And it starts with us. We can't expect the rest of the world to change out there if we haven't changed ourselves inside first. And that's why I can't stress this enough, people. As Bob said, take time for you. Take time out. Meditate. Ground. Okay? Eat good, organic, wholesome foods. Don't eat poisonous, bullshit, processed foods. Okay? Grow your own. Go out and actually start making your own gardens. You know, if you have to, because I mean, at least you'll guarantee you're not going to get pesticides, okay, on your foods. But ground. Go and actually sit out there. Go and get in nature. Go and hug a tree. Slip yourself into the ocean. Okay? Feel the waves moving you as the breath of the earth moves through you. Okay? I can't put this out there enough to you all that these are essential, fundamental things that we've been taught not to do by replacing them with other things that have gained our attention and distracted us from what we need to be doing. So taking up the old and actually looking back into what we used to do, look into your ancient cultures, look into the ancient civilizations and what they used to do to maintain their health. I mean, you didn't think if they had cancer back then, they probably didn't realize it. But from what I understand, wearing sunglasses, everyone, deprives the body the right to actually produce vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency creates cancer, as well as having a non-high alkaline environment. The more you alkaline the insides of your body, the more cancer cannot survive. Voila. So organic foods, grounding, everything, all contribute. Don't stay away from your sunglasses to a degree, because from what I've seen, these sunglasses are creating cancers, as well as these other ones. Your biggest thing, and I think Bob will probably agree with me on this as well, your skin care for suntan lotion.
Oh, horrible stuff. Horrible stuff.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, people. So unlearn, and learn to discern. That's my biggest thing that I can probably quote right now, is unlearn what you have learned, as Master Yoda once said, and learn to discern. That's what I say. Learn to discern. So, yeah, I've got to say thank you, Bob, this afternoon, for joining us again, mate. And I've got to say, anytime you want to come back, mate, you are most welcome to be here with us. You are a Starseeds and Patriots of Down Under family member, mate. And I'm just actually in gratitude for you being here. I'm actually trying to figure out how to pull my screen up right now. I've actually hidden my settings, and I actually don't know how to actually stop this right now, mate. To be honest, I've hidden my screen by accident. I don't display settings. Okay, sorry, no, that's not what I want. I'm trying to figure out how to actually get up my screen so I can actually end the recording.
Okay, if you could go down to your what do you call it? No, your Explorer thing here. Yep, went across. Click that.
Here we go. There we go. Got it. There we go. I figured that out. Okay, so I've just got to. Oh.
And that should jump back.
That's not allowing my cursor to go over the top of it to stop it. Oh, wait a second. Now here we go. No, it's still not letting me, mate. I don't know what's going on with this.
It's still thinking about it.
It's still thinking. Oh my gosh! If you can see that on screen right now, it's actually not letting me.
Yeah, no, keep coming over.
Oh my gosh! This is not letting me stop, buddy. This is actually not letting me stop.
Sorry. Come to your right.
Come to my right.
Oh, sorry, no, too much. You almost had it. Come over left a little bit more, a little bit to your left, a little more.
Left. Okay. It's not even letting me put it on the pause button. I don't know what's going on here, and I press the escape, and it's not letting me do it that way either. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on.
I suppose one way to do it would be, open up your task manager and just kill it.
Got it. Got it, bro. There we go. It was thinking for a while, my dear friend. I do apologise to everyone in the audience. I do apologise to everyone in the audience for that.
You're still live.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I haven't stopped it yet. Yeah, see, I couldn't get any of those functions up just before, but I'm going to say, everyone, thank you, everyone, again for joining us today at Starseeds and Patriots Down Under. I hope you've actually enjoyed the information that myself and Bob have provided you, and I hope you can go away and actually look at some of the information that we've shared, and go and have a look at, please, Elena Danan and Dr. Michael Sala on their YouTube channels and their respective websites, exopolitics.org and elenadanan.org. Check out their videos. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't to theirs already. Please also go over to our friends at Voice of Freedom as well, to Carl's channel, either at Voice of Freedom or None2K, and go give him a subscription as well. Give him a like and throw some shares out on some of his videos. It actually helps everyone. It really does help getting our YouTube videos out to a wider audience. Okay? Basically, shadow banning is still in play at the moment, regardless of what many may think. And they are actually stopping through the algorithms that they write for our videos to get out to wider audiences. So the only way around that is by actually sharing it and sending it on to as many people as possible, because that's the way it's operating right now. The YouTube algorithms are not allowing us to pass our information on or our videos. So the only way is up to you and through you to be able to share it. So that's the only way we can get out. I can't ask that enough of you, please, everyone. And I just say thank you in advance for doing so for myself and the Voice of Freedom crew and anyone else such as Elena Danan or Dr. Sala. Their information more so than mine, because they are the foremost spearheads of disclosure in the world right now. And I cannot express enough to you all. Please go over and check them out. I love you all. Thank you, Bob, once again, mate, for being with us.
No, you're welcome.
And we'll definitely catch up through the week, mate, I'm sure. And to everyone, love you all. Remember, unlearn and discern, and always stay, as James would say, from James Gilland, E.S.T Ranch, stay in an open mind, loving heart. Take it easy, everyone. I love you. Catch you next time.